What's the rarest object you own? A handwritten letter from David Attenborough. He replied to a love letter I sent him years ago. Tears of joy heart. I have a incomplete hardback collection of Edgar Allan Poe's writings that was bound in 1919. Found a gold tooth and a few thousand really old stamps from all over the world in a really old Jewish lady's house in NYC that had died and we were clearing out. No idea how to figure out if they're worth anything, but some are super old like pre-World War II and from weird corners if the world. I have a copy of Avenging Spider-Man #1 blank cover variant with a hand-drawn picture of Spider-Man on the cover by Ken Hauser. It is number 28 of 499. Years later I had it signed by Stan Lee at Fan Expo Toronto. An old encyclopedia that says Adolf Hitler is a former corporal who staged a failed coup, for which he is doing a jail sentence. An Allosaurus metatarsal. I have a scarf for my favorite soccer club with 2 signatures on it. Both from the same player. But 20 years between the 2 signatures. First edition of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, signed by Dr. Seuss. An original Microsoft Explorer 3.0 mouse signed by Bill Gates and Stephen Fisher, the designer of the mouse. Microsoft Hardware gave it to me as a gift for helping them plan a research trip for gaming to Korea. One of only 2 I am aware of. An Olympic torch from the Vancouver Olympics. Unopened copy of FFVII. Black label. Sticker and cellophane still intact. I got 2 copies for my birthday when I was a kid because my parents were divorced and didn't communicate what they intended to get me. Weirdly, I was a smart kid and only opened one so I'd have an extra just in case I scratched a disc. I have a pencil drawing by H.R. Geiger. Many years ago I bought a limited signed print of a Michael Whelan illustration of the gunslinger. It's one of 500, so somewhat rare I guess. I have an uncooked steak in the freezer. It would be a canvas painting my sister made me. It's the map to the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks. The motif isn't rare, but she's just made one for me, slightly smiling face. In 1993, I wrote a letter to Matt Groening, and he responded with a drawing of Bart Simpson and a word balloon saying my name. It's probably not so rare, but it's a cool thing to have. Me. There isn't another one like me. A 1775 mantel clock made in London. It's in pristine condition. All original. Gets wound once per week. And keeps accurate time. My mind. A bracelet made from the guitar strings of one of the members of Rammstein with a certificate of authenticity. We inherited an original Munch painting. A 1 of 500 St. Paul and the Broken Bones record. An unopened Tamagotchi I bought in 1997. Probably not worth anything. Come to think of it. The rarest thing I have is actually not that rare. A metal lunchbox featuring the movie Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It's unused and has the thermos. A quilt my mom made for me right before she passed. First iPhone released given specially to Apple employees. I have a mummy holding a baby that was found in a basement at an estate sale. A 10-spanner. Can't remember where it is though. A watch my granddad wore during World War II that he managed to keep despite becoming a POW after his aircraft was shot down. A Coco de Mer from the Seychelles. Went on business once and was given one as a gift. And the official license to take it out of the country. Beautiful thing. Although it really does look like eyes. I have a obsidian-tipped arrow made by the Aztecs. I have an M1 Garand that was produced in 1943, so it almost certainly killed at least one Nazi. A PSA 10 base set Charizard card. A beauty. A complete Leatherby pun set of the entirety of Shakespeare's works. Printed in 1900. Bequeathed to me by my great-grandmother. A German edition of Stephen King's Dr. Sleep, signed by the master himself. A first edition Infinite Jest signed by David Foster Wallace. Band I really like has an ultra-rare EP from early in their career. Posted on a message board about how it was one my Holy Grail record finds. Singer of the band reached out to me. The band didn't even a copy of their early record. But she burned me a copy of record on CD off her computer and included a handwritten version of the liner notes. One of a kind. My great-great-umpty-great-grandfather's powder horn from the Revolutionary War. Signed copy of Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Found in a local charity shop 9 years ago. A heat shield tile from a space shuttle. I have a handwritten letter and Christmas card from Ryan Ferguson while he was in prison for murder. He was exonerated and is now a fitness guru who was just on The Amazing Race. I also have a record of Jim Jones giving a sermon about self-sustaining agriculture and how to farm. When they eventually got to Guyana, the record was recovered from Jonestown after the event. Still plays perfectly. I'm an oddities and curiosities collector with a few true crime pieces that I know are one of a kind. Or too taboo to display.